Warning, the following contains actions performed by idiots. What you're about to view should not be taken as factual or educational. For further questions, please refer to your Google. What is up, guys? So, I've officially come up with the intercooler idea for the bug. What we are going to do is build basically, so Google Volkswagen Dragwing. Basically, it's a flat sheet of metal that just goes straight off the back of the bug. So my idea is I am going to try and build that, but I'm going to integrate the intercooler inside of it. So all the air going up and over the bug is just going to smash down on that intercooler. I'm going to have a little bit of downforce from it, but the rest of the air is just going to send right through that intercooler, and it's going to be way better than whatever the heck we were trying to do inside the car. So that's what we're doing in this video. It's going to turn out freaking sweet. I have no plans. I have no idea. I don't know how it's going to turn out. But I'm on a mission. I got a lot of work to do in there. So in between that and that, I'm going to get this done. You're going to like it. Watch this video. Something's going to happen. I got crazy eyes. Okay, here we go. Okay, fair warning, guys. So, like, we do a lot of weird stuff that we acknowledge is not correct. I am winging this, no pun intended, but I'm winging this so hard it's not even funny. So what I've done is I measured 7 inches, I made this little plate, and I drilled 2 holes. No, that top one is not perfectly centered, but then I put these on here about like that, and then drilled those holes. So the plan is, let me switch camera angles real quick. And then I cut this out so I can reach my hand in there. This is now going to be covered though, so you're not going to see this. But so the plan is, I'm going to bolt this on there like such, something like that. And then once that is bolted on, then I'm going to start building off of it. So I just needed something hard and solid to start from, so that's where we're starting. So I'm gonna find bolts for that, get those on there, and then kind of start brainstorming. Like I said, I'm really winging this. I've never built a wing before. This is hardly gonna be a wing, but this is kind of important because it's gonna be seen. So I'm trying to take my time, but I really don't have a game plan for this, and I really don't know how this is gonna turn out. Unfortunately, I've already cut that and drilled holes, so I'm gonna make this happen, but I don't know how it's gonna turn out. So that's where I'm at so far. I'll try to keep filming kind of the steps I do and then walk you through it at the end. I'll see you in a minute. Okay, so I have these tacked on very lightly. They are still movable up and down, but I have them both at the same height from the ground. What I thought would also be a good measure, so I'm gonna run a support from here to here somewhere, and then from this bar up to here multiple more times, because there's gonna be, back here there's gonna be a lot of pressure, so all the stress is gonna be from about here back, so I'm gonna reinforce that pretty good. I haven't decided yet, and I don't really know until I get into it. I might run a couple more supports from here, maybe up to this bar that runs across. But so what I'm doing now is I cut these 2 pieces, and if they're not perfectly identical, which I think they are, they're pretty dang close. So I'm gonna measure, so I'm gonna line it up perfectly flat with the bottom of that. And then I'm gonna kind of see where it wants to sit up here. So it's gonna sit something like that. So I'm gonna kind of see where it wants to sit up here, and then I'm gonna measure from here to there and match that measurement on that side. So that way I know this is kind of hard to explain. I hope you understand. Not that this is so complicated, but So I'm trying to get this to touch there at the same point and here at the same point. That'll kind of help me, like almost as a double check, to make sure that these are both the same height. Because it's, I mean, this is really, without having like a jig or like more intelligence than what I have, this is about as good as I can do. So I kind of eyeballed them and kind of got them where I wanted them. I think that one might have to come in a little bit, but I'll adjust that later. That one might not be perfectly straight either, but the heights are what I'm focusing on now. So I'm gonna weld these on and hopefully get the heights symmetrical, or I'm gonna tack these on. And then I'm gonna kind of figure out a way to measure how far out they're sticking from each other, and then work on that, and then cut a piece, and that's gonna get kind of tricky. But so this is what I'm doing now. Don't know if it's gonna work, but I'm gonna try it. Okay, I think I'm happy with it. It's obviously all tacked and it's not finished, but I think, so I measured, okay, so I realized that the height from the ground up might be a little off, just depending on air in the tires. You know, that coilover might be slightly off, whatever. So I used this as a reference point, and I was using the tip of this as a reference point. So I measured length on both, because if the angles were off, they'd measure different lengths from there to here. And then I measured length from here to right where those met, and then from here to the tip of this corner. And it was all, I mean, it's all within like 1/32 of an inch. Like, it's super, super close. So, I mean, if you stand from right here, I mean, it looks pretty dang centered. I put the tape measure on here. Halfway on this is 18.5. I was gonna mark it, but when I was looking at it on the tape measure, it was, I mean, it was dead on, it was perfect. So I think, I mean, I don't know how much better it's gonna get. So before this moves, like, these tacks are kind of brittle because I'd tack it and then jiggle these and measure and then move it and then measure. So these tacks are all kind of brittle and barely hanging on. So what I've noticed too in the past is when you weld, the metal does move. It gets hot and then it relaxes. So I'm gonna tack, pretty much I'm gonna just re-tack all these in different places slowly, and then probably go back through one more time and do another tack on every part, and then take it off very gently, and then fully weld it, put it back on. So the or at least the Evo intercooler, which is a good size to go off of, and worst case scenario, all we're really gonna have to change is probably the piece of stainless steel that I cut out for this. But that is 12 inches tall, I guess, in that scenario. And these pieces are 22 long. But this does obviously stick out maybe 4 inches further than there. But we still have plenty of working room right here for that intercooler. The part that I'm concerned about, which I'll figure out, is if that intercooler is mounted on this, I mean, this is not very strong yet, but that's still gonna be a lot of weight out here being held on basically by those bolts way back there. So I want to try and think of a way, which is gonna be hard with this, but I wanna try and think of a way to make a support, just get more of that metal and run it from like here diagonal to this corner and then weld it underneath. Or maybe, I don't know. It'd be nice to bend that metal. Where's the long piece? Yeah, this metal is thin enough to where it's pretty flexible. So it'd be kind of cool to take that, and again, I'm thinking out loud, I just thought of this. Take that metal, tack it, say there, or maybe there, bend it all along this, tack it there, and then I don't even know how to get a bolt through it, but maybe somewhere in here, try and fit a bolt through it. So then it's got one more support there, but then from that metal beam across, we can weld from that to out there, just as one more, and then I can run a support from this piece to this piece and just structure these corners as best I can, and then kind of hope and pray that that's enough for this. I mean, so this is wobbly right there because it's long and thin, but I mean, for just being tacked, those are pretty decent. Like, they're not crazy. So I don't know. I think that's where I'm at. I'm not calling the video yet. I want to kind of get this more finalized, kind of give you guys an idea of how that's going to look on it. And then in the next video, we'll probably like actually finish it. But I want, since we haven't done a video in a minute, I want you guys to have a decent idea of what this is gonna look like. So I'm gonna keep going on this. It's late, I still have stuff to clear in the booth, but I wanna get this done first. So I'm gonna keep going on this and we'll see how it looks in a minute. Okay, so where we're at now, so I just went ahead and bent that piece of metal, tacked it pretty good on each side. And then I put the intercooler up here. So the intercooler is 25 inches, and this is, so that mark and that mark, okay, let me start over. From the inside of there to the inside of here is almost 36 dead on. So that means we have 11 inches total between the two sides. So I just measured 5 inches out, so we have a ½ inch of play on each side. So that's where the intercooler is going to sit, between those two lines, right? So then that means I can't really run supports from here to here because it actually curves out, but I made that mark. So from here forward, I can run supports from this side, from this piece to here. And then I can run supports from pretty much anywhere on here to here. So it's not going to work like I wanted, running, you know, somewhere about here to here, because it's going to hit the side of the intercooler. So, and I wasn't going to do this, but then I thought, well, it's all in the car, might as well just do this now. I think I'm just going to finish building the rest of the supports, so that way it's not much stronger when I take it off, and then fully weld everything, and then it should be, I think it's going to be pretty stout. So I'm going to kind of brainstorm what I can do from here to here, and then what I can do from here to there. I would like to put a bolt or two here, but I don't know if it's gonna happen, because right behind this is not something I can get to because it's down in there. So I don't think I can put well, you for sure can't see it under there. Oh, I could totally put a bolt there. Okay, so I might do that. The only problem I'm foreseeing with that is that this is bent. So if I put a bolt there and tighten it, it's gonna flex that out, which I didn't really consider when I bent that like I did. So I'm gonna ponder that. The right way to fix that would be to take one, or cut one side off, drill a hole, bolt it down, and then tack that side. Start over. I'm gonna drill the hole, put the bolt through, tighten it down a smidgen, cut that off, tighten that down all the way. Wait, no. I need to cut that off first, because then this side is gonna wanna move a little bit depending on how that flattens out. Shoot, I need to cut both sides off. Gosh dang it. Okay, I'm gonna drill a hole right now. Then I'm gonna cut both sides off, tighten this down, and then press those sides down. And then if it overlaps a little bit, which it probably will, because I'm gonna get rid of the slack in there, then I'll just trim the edges off once I'm done building the rest of it. So, see, it's so good I talk to you guys, because I talk myself, again, I'm thinking out loud. I just figured out a problem, and you guys help me. Okay, I'm gonna do that. Probably not gonna show you that, because it should be boring. So I'm gonna do that, and then once that is on officially, I'll show you, and then I'm gonna start running the supports. And then I gotta figure out, so I don't have a lot to work with. This tab is pretty much useless in the way, well here, I can show you guys. Hang on. Oh. Okay, so bear with me. So that tab's pretty much worthless. Those I don't really know how I'm gonna use yet. So this is gonna sit, sorry, one-handed, it's kind of hard to do. This is gonna sit completely flush. So that piece, that little trim right there is gonna be flush with that. And then that will sit just below. So I don't really know how to mount it yet. At all. But as you can see right there, so that's what I was talking about. That's why I made that line, because that angle right there is all I can work with. And then back there I can go from there to there pretty much, and that's it. I can't do straight across like I wanted to. Okay, that's a pain in the butt to hold. Okay, so do that, figure those out, start brainstorming how to mount it. Bueno, thank you. Yes, good. My hand's cramping. Okay, I have 2 updates for you. First update, I have a little tiny burn on my finger right there that you can hardly see. That hurts like crazy. Second thing, I thought of a way to mount the intercooler. I'm gonna cut little 3-inch stubs, and then it's gonna hang down like that on the inside here, and then weld that on, and then this is gonna go, so it's gonna go down and back. Then what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna weld another one of these. I think I might, yeah, I should have enough there. Weld another one of these, probably pretty dang close to this, so then that I have this height back here. Then I'm gonna measure 3 inches from where that bar is, and then go down. And I'm hoping it's somewhere right along here, and then I can brace this with that. So I'm gonna add more with I found these 2 as well on the bottom. I didn't know those were even there. So once this little cradle is done, that'll be kind of the main support more or less. But once that's there and the intercooler can just float by itself, that'll be a lot easier than me trying to hold it here and find other places to put mounts. So once it's sitting here, then I'll start brainstorming places to put, you know, make little brackets for those. And then those 3 right there, I might be able to bend those up, make an L, and then they might work a little better for what I'm doing. But so I'm gonna make that little cradle real quick and then set it in there, see how it looks. I'm still gonna do another support from here to there. These are tacked on. It's still a little, over here is pretty stout. I'm gonna do probably another one like that, and then one from there to there. Right here is still a little flimsy, but this should help make this a little better. So, yep, that's what I'm doing. Sorry, I'm not trying to sound unenthusiastic. I'm starting to get tired. I still have stuff to clear. I have primer drying right now, so I'm taking advantage of that. I'm gonna finish that, put the intercooler on it, show you guys, and then I don't know what's gonna happen next. Guys, it worked. There's some measurements I'm going to share with you that I did not plan on. By the grace of God, it worked. One sec. Okay, so this is what we got. I made these bigger because I ran out of that metal. But this is actually, I wouldn't have thought of this otherwise. Now I can run supports from here to there and from here to there to make that cradle a little bit stronger. And then really from here, I mean, we only need, we just need something to keep it from moving side to side, really. Like the weight of it is going to be carried by those. So the crazy measurement was, this is almost touching that, right? This intercooler with the, from that end to that end, which actually sat underneath, which I didn't think was going to happen. This is like barely 12 inches, right? Well, I just kind of eyeballed this measurement. I was like, oh, that looks long enough. It barely clears that enough to have this much wiggle room. Like, if these were an inch shorter, this would have been on top of that, and this idea would not have worked. So that's bananas. But, so if you can use your imagination, that'll be gone. I'm going to put a piece of stainless across here, so this will look nice and clean. And then the sides will have, I'm not really sure, definitely something to cover this, and then maybe just bring something down and curve it nicely at the end. But it looks, okay, so that looks pretty bad, just because the intercooler is big and ugly. But I think, I think I did a decent job, honestly. I'm pretty excited about this. it is hard to kind of imagine it being prettier because this is super ugly and this is all super ugly. But so imagine stainless to there. All you're gonna see is this, which is also pretty ugly. If the other side is better, we can flip this as long as those pipes are going that way. Now the idea with this is we're gonna immediately 90 them, bring them underneath, and then right in here, or probably closer to up here, I'm gonna cut this out, actually probably all the way to the top, and then that won't vibrate when it touches because it is gonna be really close. And then this, so the screw, that screw right there is actually touching the lid, so that's why it fights me to open it. So ignore that. But then with, okay, so if that wasn't there, it'd go up, what, another 2 inches? So that's kind of lame. So what Dennis was talking about is just get rid of the hinges on this and then just put some quick release pins, like hood pins pretty much. And then we should be able to pop this off, slide it down. Depending on, I'm gonna have to shop for like some low clearance hood pins because we don't have, I mean, if this is cut out though, actually, we should have a little bit of room to come off it and then down. So we'll look into that a little more. But okay, so here's the plan if I didn't already go over this. So air is gonna be, it'd be almost, this is better than having a roof scoop in my opinion. So it'd be like the air coming over the roof and then having a roof scoop and all the air in that section would get hit. Well, this way, when these are plated off, so this section here, and I'm not a scientist, so don't quote me, Google this. I'm assuming this section here on both sides is gonna give us a little bit of downforce, and then the rest of the air coming over the entire car is just gonna smack this intercooler, and it's gonna flow straight out, and it's gonna work really well. I've seen similar setups like this. I can't think of the car that I'm thinking about, but I mean, if we get, you know, and again, okay, so this might not be temporary anymore because this might actually work out really well. This for sure is temporary. So imagine a nice chrome eBay intercooler. I think it'd look pretty good, and then we can spray like Garage Idiots or my business name or something on that, and then all this boxed in that same stainless steel. I think it's gonna look pretty good. It is a little big, but I think once it's all dressed up, I've already said this 20 times, sorry. I think once it's all dressed up, it's gonna look pretty good. Once everything is fully welded and I add more supports and stuff, I think this is gonna be plenty strong. The only thing I am, not that I'm worried about, but had this been aluminum, I mean, this thing is probably gonna weigh, I would guess at least 15 pounds by itself without the intercooler in it. So that's kind of a downfall, but it's not much more weight in the back to try and pop a wheelie with, I guess. So, I don't know. I really like the idea. We don't have to do anything stupid in there anymore. And if that doesn't work, we can always change it. But functionality-wise, I think it's gonna work like we want it to. And that's really what I'm shooting for right now. And again, once it's covered, Google bug drag wings and you'll kind of see what the finished product of this is supposed to look like. So I don't know, I'm happy with that personally. Okay, it is like 1:30ish in the morning. I still have to clear coat, so in between coats of clear, I'm gonna edit this video, and if you see this tomorrow, that means I was probably up till 4 or 5 in the morning getting all this stuff done. So you're welcome. Thank you very much for watching. I'm sorry I've been busy. Just when you guys, I know the bug is kind of the focus of the channel right now. That's what we're kind of getting known for, and that's what everyone's liking right now. Go check out the Jeep stuff. The turbo setup on that, I've made up my mind. If you watch the other ones, I was indecisive. I've made up my mind. You guys are gonna freaking love it. Whether you like Chevy or Jeeps or not, that thing's gonna be sweet. You should go check it out. So, like always, guys, thank you for watching. I love your comments. I read them all. Comment what you think about that. Before you comment, look up drag wings so you can kind of get an idea of how I think it's going to turn out, and then let me know what you think. That was the biggest pain in the butt that I was having with that, is the intercooler setup. I didn't like the other one. I like that a lot. That's going to look clean when it's done. Have faith in me. I think it's gonna work out. So let me know what you think about that. Like I said, go watch the Jeep stuff, because that's gonna be coming as soon as the bug is done. That thing is coming, and that thing is gonna be so cool. It's taking everything I have to not just go to town on that and finish this. I'm so excited for that. It's not even funny. So watch that. Let me know what you think about this. Thanks for watching, guys. I'm gonna try and bust out some more. We're gonna finish that, finish the rest of the bug. It's gonna go to PFI, and it's gonna be a party. Thanks for watching, guys. We'll see you next time.